So these are different kinds of sources of secondary data. They're all, for the most part, they're almost all free. Aside from the studies, aside from the last two, everything else is essentially, it should be free. And they're great sources of information. And oftentimes, the stuff that you pay for sometimes regurgitates the information you can find on the free sites. So we're actually going to go through examples of all these. Let me see, I just wanted to note. So just things to be careful, because it's secondary data, so sometimes you might not find exactly what you're looking for. Maybe you want to find sales data for a particular industry in 2008, and the best you can find is 2007, or maybe only 2003. You just have to make do and acknowledge that you may not get exactly what you're looking for, and therefore when you recite your data, make sure that you cite it carefully and say, have conservative assumptions and so on, bounding your estimates, knowing that some of the answers you get may not be exactly what you're looking for. Maybe you only get US data, and maybe you only get worldwide data and you want to break out US. Maybe you're looking for cell phones with touch screens, but the only data you can get is for smartphones, or maybe you can only get data for all phones. But anyway, those are the kinds of things that you might run into when you're looking for secondary data. All right, so I'm actually going to jump out and see. So the first one I just talked about are annual reports. Actually, I'll just say something about this quickly. So one of the best sources of information is our annual reports, or SEC filings, Securities and Exchange Commission filings of public companies. So if your concept's new, most likely there's nobody doing exactly what you're doing, but there's probably somebody out there that's doing something pretty close, or it's maybe it's a brand new product, and people would love to have this solution, and they have to live with something else right now. So that's something else right now. You might go, oh, that's not competition, that's not what we do. But if that's what people are living with today, that is your competition, because you're going to try to convince people that, don't buy that, that's lame compared to what I'm doing. So, but you want to find out everything you can about what you think is lame, right? Because that's your reference point. And so we're going to look at some annual reports of some public companies, Logitech, Apple, and iRobot. So I pulled these down. You know what? I need that flash drive back. I only got a presentation. Let me see. Art, just hop on real quick. Yeah, can you copy that whole folder over there and bring it back? I'll come back to the SEC filings because I need to go to the website once first. So, and let me just give a scenario. So, in one of my previous jobs, I worked in the video game industry, and we've made all kinds of technologies for cool peripherals. And so let's just say that you have an idea. You've seen the Wii. Maybe you played it at a friend's house or relative's house. You thought it was pretty cool. You heard about Wii Fit. Maybe you saw some story in the news that video games have eclipsed Hollywood, and that it was a $30 billion industry last year and sold more product than Hollywood DVDs and so on. You're like, wow, this is a pretty big market. I have some pretty cool ideas for video games. Maybe I'd like to start a business around that. Where would you start? Well, first thing, go to the corporate websites of the market leaders. So I have Sony Computer Entertainment here. I'll bring this up. You can see this is a corporate website, or this is a website for Sony Computer Entertainment, which is the PlayStation business of Sony. And they make it nice and easy on this website. Sometimes it's hard to find, but if you just simply click here on corporate information, corporate info, you'll see that they actually have a bunch, on the left side, a bunch of market data, including unit sales of hardware, cumulative production shipments of hardware, and so on. So for instance, you could click on this and see detailed data of, well, actually they don't have updated this in a while. Let's look at the PlayStation 2. They're having some troubles over it. So everybody's having some troubles too. Cumulative shipments of PlayStation 2s worldwide. Actually, this is good. This is what I saw. So this is millions of units. So this gives you cumulative numbers of PlayStation 2 shipped worldwide, and you can see as of, looks like I haven't updated in a while, but as of March 2007, they had shipped 117 million PlayStation 2s worldwide, and even breaks down into Japan, North America, Europe. So, if you were thinking, if I'm making this peripheral, should I put it on PlayStation? Should I put it on the Wii? Should I put it on the Xbox? This is pretty useful information just to know what's the install base out there. And you can find these comparable numbers with Microsoft and Sony. So first thing, go to the company websites and look at corporate information. Did you plug that back in?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks. Okay, so here we go. let's go back to the annual report. So I was talking about annual reports. Let's go to Logitech. So has everybody heard of Logitech? Yeah, they make
Mice.
they make mice and keyboards. This mice and keyboard up here say Dell, but most likely they're made by Logitech actually. In fact, I look on the bottom and I think this is made by Logitech. They make game controllers. They're actually one of the leading manufacturers of game controllers and some pretty innovative game controllers. So they would be a good company to look at in terms of market research. So let's see. So first, two things. You can typically find these annual reports if you just go to the company website. In fact, let me show you an example. So let's go to Logitech.com. And you have to hunt around for it, but basically you want to find either investor information or corporate information or about the company or something like that. Okay, so Logitech makes it nice and easy. It has investors right up here in the corner. If they don't have investors, sometimes it might be under press or media or under about, but they'll usually take you there. So you go to investors, and oftentimes if you look here, SEC filings. So if you're a public company, meaning you're traded, you see their stock symbol on E-Trade or whatever else, you're required by law every quarter to file what's called a quarterly report, and every year an annual report, and oftentimes for any important events you have to file additional documents. But the annual report is a great way to get a sense of where that company is, get beyond the marketing hype and so on and see what's going on. So click on SEC filings, and you can see there's a big list. So you're looking for what's called a 10K. A 10K is a quarterly report. You have to go back. I already have it downloaded, so I'm not going to search for it, but find the 10K. Sometimes you'll actually see that it's called out here, and I'll just caution you a little bit, because sometimes on a corporate website they'll say, here's our annual report. And I'll show you what actually Logitech did. So the 10K is what you have to file with the SEC, and that's a legal document. You can get in trouble if you don't include certain information. You can get in trouble if you lie in there, well, anyway. So, but then there's also sometimes companies will then also have an annual report. Well, they'll sort of take selective highlights from their 10K and put it in their annual report. So you're not getting the full story. And in fact, Logitech does that to some extent. I'll show you. So this is the annual report from Logitech. And if you look at the beginning, they have all these pictures of nice-looking people and people smiling, having a great time. They have all these bar graphs that show exponential growth. I mean, everything looks beautiful, right? This doesn't give you the true behind-the-scenes picture. And in fact, they selectively only include certain parts of the annual report. After you get past all this marketing fluff, which goes on forever, you finally get to, here's a letter for, so finally, they only include selected portions of the annual report. So get the 10K. If you see the difference between the two, make sure you get the 10K and not the one that's called the annual report, even though they theoretically should be the same. And the way that you tell the difference, this is what a 10K should look like. Right? No smiling people, no big bar graphs, okay. And a typical 10K, I'll just walk you through how it typically works or what it looks like. So initially there's a part in the very top, I'll look at table contents, there's item 1, business. And that's a good thing to scan. There's a lot of marketing fluff there, but oftentimes the best parts to look at are in item 7, management's discussion and analysis of financial condition and result of operations. This is where they start to give you some details as to what's going on in the business. And just to give you an idea, if we look at this business section, Logitech actually does a decent job in their business overview. They say they're a world leader in peripherals of personal computers and other digital platforms. Develop products in PC navigation, internet communications. Just bigger so you can see it. And they'll tell you they're founded in Switzerland. They're traded on NASDAQ. They make gaming and wireless devices. They've got different 6 product line business units. Control devices, internet communications, gaming, audio, etc. They manufacture their stuff in Suzhou. So this is okay, not bad. And then the next section is their products, and I highlighted the gaming products. So you can read a little bit about what are their current product offerings in the gaming area. And then they talk a little bit about their customers. This is actually pretty good because if you were to make a gaming peripheral, some new gaming peripheral for video games, you would think, okay, who might my customers be?